ये म्यूट करके चालू करना। मेरा आवाज आता है, तेरा आवाज आता है का मैं चेक करता हूँ।
आपकी आवाज आ रही है सर। मेरी आवाज आई आपको? हेलो।
हेलो।
मेरी आवाज आई?
अभिषेक, मेरा आवाज आ रहा है क्या?
आपको मेरी आवाज आई क्या?
हाँ।
मेरी आवाज आ रही क्या आपको?
तेरा बहुत ही छोटा आवाज आ रहा, स्लो आवाज आ रहा।
एक मिनट। अभी?
अभी भी वैसे आ रहा मेरे ख्याल से। मेरा स्पीकर ही खराब है।
नहीं 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 नहीं, मेरा माइक्रोफोन से भी हो सकता है कि कम आवाज जाए। अभी कैसी आ रही है? आपके इसका वॉल्यूम बढ़ाओ।
मैं ये राहुल को बुलाता वाला थोड़ा सा।
हेलो।
हेलो।
आवाज आ रहा है सर?
अरे बहुत कम बारीक आ रहा है। मेरा कैसा आ रहा है?
हाँ, बराबर है आवाज आपका।
अच्छा, मेरा ठीक आ रहा है।
रतनलाल सर
हाँ।
भी ज्वाइन हो चुके हैं।
राहुल।
गुड मॉर्निंग
आउटलेट
सर।
सर आवाज आ रही
ये
मेरी?
आवाज बरोबर, टिकट से आवाज बरोबर नहीं येता यार।
आउटलेट सर।
हाँ, आपकी आवाज आ रही क्लियर।
ठीक है। वही
सर ज्वाइन हो गए, रतन लाल सर ज्वाइन हो गए।
ज्वाइन हो गए।
सर वेलकम सर। आउटसेट सर। रतन लाल सर ज्वाइन हो गए।
यस सर, यस सर, मैं पहले ही बताया। गुड आफ्टरनून सर।
अवसर थोड़ा सा बात कर तो।
यस सर.
हाँ वो देखो बहुत ही कम आवाज. हे राहुल आला आहे बघायसाठी.
हेलो सर.
जी सर. कौन?
हॅलो. हॅलो. हॅलो.
येत आहे का सर आवाज?
तुझा आवाज क्लिअर येत आहे आता. माझा आवाज
हो
तुम्ही
येत
बोल
आहे,
रहा हूँ.
खरखर येत थोडा.
त्या स्पीकरचा इश्यू आहे मग तो.
हाँ ठीक है. हाँ. सर वो सातों ने सर है नहीं. मैं अभी उनसे बात करता हूँ. और वर्गीस सर को अपन जो बोलने के लिए बोल रहे थे ना, तो वर्गीस सर ऐसे कंडीशन में नहीं है कि कुछ बोल पाए.
हा. टेन्शन.
आता बोलून का?
जॉईन करना. जॉईन नाही केला का?
मी जॉईन नाही केलं.
फिर दूसरा 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 तत्काल वाला।
वेलकम सर, रतनलाल सर, वेलकम. गुड आफ्टरनून सर.
Good afternoon, sir. Whether I'm audible?
Yes sir,
Yes,
yes.
yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes, audible
Okay,
sir.
sir. Very good, sir.
रतनलाल सर वेलकम.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
बदर सर बोल रहा था.
हाँ सर, बदर सर कैसे हैं आप?
एकदम बढ़िया सर.
बढ़िया है. चलिए सर, इसी बहाने में उम्र है सर, मुलाकात करवाया आप लोगों से मेरा. आई शुड बी थैंकफुल टू उम्र सर.
बहुत साल के बाद मुलाकात हुई सर, ऐसे ही, और वो भी वर्चुअली.
जो भी है मुलाकात तो करवाए हैं.
बदर सर भी ज्वाइन हो गए सर.
जी 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 सर. जी सर.
वेलकम सर, बदर सर. वेलकम सर. रतनलाल सर.
हाँ सर. थैंक यू.
बदर सर नमस्कार.
नमस्कार नमस्कार सर.
कपल ऑफ मिनट्स में शुरू करते सर. कपल ऑफ मिनट्स में शुरू करते सर. सर.
हाँ
हाँ
सर
सर बिल्कुल.
कराइए. बिल्कुल.
बस एक 5 मिनट में शुरू करते सर.
हाँ बिल्कुल सर.
सर ये रतनलाल सर, ये इस्टेब्लिशमेंट कब का है सर, जो अभी प्रेजेंट अफिलिएशन?
2018 से है सर ये.
अच्छा, 11 का है क्या?
18 का है,
18 का.
2018 का.
अच्छा. आई थिंक इट इज इन बिटवीन भिलाई एंड रायपुर.
No, no, no. It is in Raipur. It is in Raipur, sir.
पार्डन सर.
It is in Raipur.
अच्छा, प्रॉपर रायपुर में.
हाँ प्रॉपर रायपुर.
ओके. अभी तो कैपिटल सिटी है सर, काफी बड़ी हो गई सिटी. वर्गीस सर भी है सर प्रेजेंट, बट ही इज बिजी समवेयर एल्स, सो perhaps he may not be in a convenient mood to speak a lot. सातोने सर. सातोने सर. हेलो. सातोने सर.
हाँ सर.
शुरू करें सर.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
हम्म.
हम्म.
हेलो. बलबीर सर।
Yes, sir. Shall I start?
हाँ, शुरू करें।
The Saturday sir is there?
सातोने सर कहाँ है? सातोने सर। बलबीर सर, वो सातोने सर के एंड में वॉइस का प्रॉब्लम है। ही इज
सर
ज्वाइनिंग ऑन कंप्यूटर।
Sir, sir has
हेलो,
come.
मेरा आवाज आ रहा है सर अभी?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, अभी आ
सर
रहा है
अभी
सर,
आवाज
शुरू
आ रहा है?
करते सर अपन।
Yes,
हेलो।
sir. It's coming. आवाज आ रहा
हाँ
है, sir.
चलो, ठीक है।
Shall I
हाँ ठीक है
start?
जी, चलो।
Okay.
हाँ
Good
सर।
afternoon. Shall I start, sir?
यस यस।
यस।
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of KDK College of Engineering, I, Dr. Balbir Singh Ruprai, welcome you all to the 1 week orientation program on research aptitude, OPRA, organized by Civil Engineering Department. The primary objective of the research aptitude orientation program is to cultivate an understanding of research fundamentals, to equip participants with essential research skill, and to encourage a research-oriented mindset. We are honored to have with us today our esteemed chief guest and today expert speaker, Dr. B. Ramratan Lal, Sir, Vice Chancellor Officiating and Dean Academics and Engineering and Professor in Civil Engineering at Sri Rawatpura Sarkar University, Raipur, Chhattisgarh, and a distinguished expert in civil engineer. We also welcome our guiding source, Principal Dr. Valsan Varghese Sir, Vice Principal Dr. A.M. Badar Sir, Head of Department Dr. Swapnil Satone Sir. I acknowledge the presence of faculty members and head of other departments. Now to honor our chief guest Dr. B. Ram Ratan Lal Sir, let us extend a warm virtual floral welcome. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Now I welcome Dr. Valsan Varghese Sir, Principal KDK College of Engineering with the virtual floral welcome. Welcome, sir. I welcome Dr. A.M. Badar Sir, Vice Principal KDK College of Engineering with a virtual floral welcome.
Thank you sir.
Welcome, sir. Now I would like to invite our respected head of department, Dr. Swapnil Satone Sir, to share his view about today's program. Sir, please.
Very good morning to one and all. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all to this orientation program on research aptitude. On behalf of organizing team of this orientation program, Department of Civil Engineering and KDKC, I extend a warm welcome to our chief guest, Dr. B. Ram Ratan Lal Sir, in charge Vice Chancellor, Shri Rawatpura Sarkar University, Chhattisgarh, Principal Dr. Valsan Varghese Sir, Dr. A.M. Badar Sir, our Vice Principal, all head of the department and faculty member. In today's rapidly evolving academic and professional landscape, research is no longer a choice, it is a necessity. It is through research that we innovate, solve real-world problems. This orientation program marks the beginning of a journey where curiosity meets discipline and idea takes the shape into impactful outcome. The objective of this orientation program is to introduce you to the fundamental concept of research, the importance of developing a research mindset, and how to identify and pursue meaningful research problem. We are privileged to have with us today Dr. B. Ramratan Lal, Vice Chancellor, Shri Rawatpura Sarkar University, Chhattisgarh, an experienced academician and authority in research activity. with us today. Let this orientation be the first step in a journey of lifelong learning, discovery, and contribution. Once again, I welcome you all for being us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your encouraging words. To introduce our expert speaker, Dr. B. Ram Ratan Lal, sir, I request Dr. Anshul Nikade, sir, to do this honor. Anshul, sir.
Okay, thank you, Balbir sir. Good afternoon to one and all. It is my immense pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Dr. B. Ram Ratan Lal sir. Dr. Lal sir has completed MTech from Birla Institute of Technology, Mesra, and PhD from IIT Mumbai. His area of specialization is geotechnical engineering. He has more than three decades of experience in higher education, academia, research, and academic administration. He was the principal of Kids Ramtech, Nagpur University. He has published more than 50 papers in reputed journals such as ASC, Springers, are indexed in SCS, Scopus, and Web of Science. He is the reviewer of various reputed journals such as Journal of Testing and Evaluation, ASTM, Journal of Hazardous Toxics, Radioactive Waste, ASC, and other SCI reputed SCS Scopus Index journals. He is the reviewer of various reputed international conferences which are organized in China, USA, and South Africa. He was the co-investigator for the MODROP project, Modernization of Geotechnical Engineering Laboratory, and received the grant of rupees 6 lakhs from AICT, New Delhi. There are 3 PhD scholars has completed PhD under his guidance, and 8 PhD scholars are pursuing PhD under his supervision. At present, he is the Vice Chancellor of Sri Rawatpura Sarkar University, Raipur. Respected sir, we are truly grateful for your presence here today. May I now request you to kindly begin with your lecture. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Anshul Nikade. Whether I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm audible. Respected Professor Varsal Varghese, the principal of KDK Engineering College, Professor A.M. Vadar, the vice principal of KDK Engineering College, and Dr. Satoni is the head of the Department of Civil Engineering, and the coordinator of this workshop, my friend Mahendra Umreji. I feel very proud that you made me chief guest for this program. But my task was to deliver a lecture or a presentation on something different, which is related to research. That is how one can write a research paper and what is the structure of a research paper. If everybody permits me, then I will share my screen so that everybody will understand what is the concept of a structure of a research paper.
Sir, you can
Okay.
share.
Yeah. It is visible now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
My screen is visible now.
Yes, yes, it is
Yes,
visible,
sir.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, visible.
Yeah. You see, I am proud and privileged that the KDK College of Engineering has given an opportunity to share my knowledge regarding the research articles. The topic which I have given to me is the structure of a research article. Okay. Now, what is a research article? So, usually the definition of a research article is very broad. A research article, also known as a research paper or a journal article, is a type of a scholarly writing that reports on original research findings, methodologies, and results. So suppose any person do any research in the laboratory or in desk. So you have to report that research work. The medium of reporting is like you have to write a paper, a manuscript, and that you have to submit either to a journal or to a conference proceedings so that it can be published. So it is a primary contribution. It will give a knowledge sharing to the field of a specific study. Usually, the field of study means in which field you are specialized. you do the research on that topic, particular topic, then you will share that knowledge to the broad media so that everybody will be benefited from that. Okay. Now, what is the need of research article? So usually, based upon my experience, usually I'll divide into two types. One is ideologically, and the second one is practical. Okay. Ideologically means whatever the research you do, whatever the discoveries you made, and whatever the output of your research. So that will share with the wider community of engineering community so that the knowledge will be shared so that there will be improvement in the knowledge in that particular domain of that field. That is ideal. But practically, if you see, you will do the research to get the funding. After getting funding, you will do the research again. To get the promotions in institutions or universities and colleges, you do the research, you will publish the papers. To get the recognition throughout the world, you will publish the papers. And most importantly is that to share the knowledge and achievements. So I have shared a few figures here. There are many funding sources available. One is, you can say DST, and SERB is there, Institute of Engineers is there. Many funding agencies are there for research things. Now, type of research works. Usually, we are all engineers in science and technology. The research work broadly, it is qualified into three types. One is experimental work, the second one is analytical work, and third one is numerical work, or combination of these three. Combination of these three means you will do the experimental work and you will develop a mathematical formula that will become analytical. Then you will verify the results by means of a numerical analysis by using a certain code or using a certain finite element code. So then it will become a numerical methods. Now you can do solely experimental work. That also you can do. You can do the experiment in the laboratory. Then you can interpret the results and you will do the discussions. You will find the findings. Based upon the findings, you will get the research articles. Then the research work will be completed. It doesn't mean that whatever the work you have done, it is a successful work. No, it is not like that. What is that? If the research work, if it's all the research was carried out in throughout world, if it is getting success, then there won't be any research in further. Because most of the research, what we will do, it doesn't get 100% successfulness. But we have done certain research. So based upon that research work, we publish certain papers to share our knowledge toward the world. Okay. Now, what are the type of research articles we will write usually? One is called short communication. Short communication means it is a one paper. It is a very short communication. And a review article. A review article means if you take a particular field of study, so there will be a lot of research will be done. So if you take the reviews of all those literature in the literature and make a paper, then it will become a review article. Okay. Then nowadays essays are also research articles are there, the research elements are there, video is there, interviews are there. But mainly we focus on two things. One is a technical note and the second is full-length research article. Technical note means usually the journals, especially those who are good journals, we can say. If your work is not sufficient to become a research article, they will publish that article like a technical note. A technical note will be mostly around 3 to 4 papers. That's it. But the research article will be more than 15 to 20 papers. So whatever the work you are publishing in any journal, in a good journal, so the editor will decide whether it is fitting into a full-length research article or it will be a technical note. Because one to the reviewer, a reviewer has to make a decision on that, stating that whether it is a perfectly a research article, a full-length research article, or a technical note. If a reviewer feels that it is not a research article, it doesn't have that much data to be produced as a research article in a journal, then it will be called as a technical notes. So technical notes, usually it will be around 4 to 5 papers. And full length papers, we know that it will be around ranges between 15 to 20 papers. Then book chapters. So book chapters means if you are publishing your research work in a particularly in a book which is containing ISBN number or online ISSN number, then it will be called as a book chapter. It may be a proceedings. Suppose we take about proceedings of a certain conference, whether it's a national conference or international conference, then we'll publish that proceedings in a form of a book having an ISBN number. Then it will be called as a book chapter. Case studies, even in a good journal, so they will take the case studies. That also we can publish. So these are the summaries of types of research articles. Now, what to do after writing a research article? This is very, very important. So you have done a research work and you have to publish that research work. Okay, so you have to publish or you have to communicate that research work. Where you have to communicate? Usually we will communicate to journals or conferences. How we will evaluate a journal? So valuation of a journal, usually nowadays what is happening, there are two types of journals we are getting. One is paid journal and an unpaid journal. Okay. So paid journal, it doesn't mean that it is a bad journal. So they have certain criteria, whether the article will become open access or not. Suppose you want to make the article as open access free to everybody, then some journals, they will take article processing charges. And some journals, they don't take at all article processing charges. Even I have done many reviews for good journals. That is a scholarly one, honorary work. You will do for free. You don't get, we don't charge anything. But nowadays, what is happening? People are publishing their work in paid journals, offering around maybe 3,000, 4,000 or 5,000 rupees, and without checking anything what they have written, and they will publish. You submit the article today, by tomorrow it will get published, or within a couple of days they will get published. Those type of articles, see, my concept is very clear. See, if you are not able to increase your quality, increase the quantity of publications. See, quality of a research work depends on many factors like whether the students is working with you is a competent enough to do a certain work and he produce a good journal paper. Whether the research scholar working under you is having a facilities where he can do the laboratory works. Because if he doesn't have a facilities of all these things, then we cannot expect that we will publish a paper which is a very high standard. Then there will be a compromise. So compromise in the quality, not 100%, maybe around about to 40 to 50% compromise we'll make it and we'll publish a paper. Because publishing a paper is important. So my advice to all young generation that try to publish a couple of papers every year. Because you start writing a paper, then you will understand what kind of the difficulties you will get it. So you have to evaluate the journal where you can publish a paper. Because the quality of the paper, you should know initially, what is the quality of my paper and where I can publish this paper. Before that, you have to evaluate the journal. That means where I can publish the paper. Now you can see journal impact. So indexing. Suppose you want to publish a paper in SCA journals. So even in SCA journals also, few journals, few publishing units take money and publish in SCA journals. That is there. But some journals are there, they're strict to the basics. You should have a work, complete work. Then only they will accept it. Sometimes it will take more than 1.5 years to publish a single paper in a good journal, which is indexed in SCA. Nowadays, people are talking more about impact factor 20, impact factor 10, impact factor 15. See, the issue is that all the good journals will have impact factor maybe less than 5. That is what I see. Because the impact factor will depend upon the number of citation, number of the readers. So more number of citation means more number of access to that particular journal. If it doesn't have access to a particular journal, then it is very difficult to cite that particular paper. Because suppose I want a paper which is published in ASC journal. So if it doesn't have an access to that paper, then how I can cite? Then I have to ask somebody else who is having access then to get the paper. Now what people are doing that they are citing more number of papers which are free available. The impact factor is going up to 20. It's a wonder, for a good journals, if you say in geotechnical field, geotechnical testing journal, which is ASTM journal, the impact factor will be less than 2. But to publish a paper in that, it will take more than a year or 1.5 years. So these are the things which will manipulate the researcher where he can publish the paper. That is why you should know the quality of the work, what you have done. And secondly, you should know where I can publish this paper. For that, there are only 2 tasks. One is you have to evaluate a journal where you can publish the paper and what is the impact factor of that particular journal, where is that is indexed. Now, next. Now, see, I'm giving a certain data. This data doesn't have validity. This is based upon my experience. Okay. Now, usually, a structure of a research article consists of certain things. One is title, next one is abstract, then keywords, then introductions. The introduction includes the literature review, then methods and methodology, then results and discussion, then conclusion and references. Now, words range. So whenever we give a data, so that data has to be perfectly cited. Now, issue in this my presentation, this is based upon my experience that a title should have 8 to 15 words. So for your better understanding, I have downloaded my own paper, which was published in SCA Index Journal, International Journal of Geotechnical Engineering. So study of cellular reinforced fly ash under a fractional loading condition. Now, abstract should have around 150 to 250 words. That too depend upon the journal. And keywords will vary between 5 to 7. And introduction. Now, the introduction should contain the literature. This is important. There should be a separate section, not like literature review, what we will do in a dissertations or in PhD thesis. But the technical papers will have a literature review in introduction itself. We have to cite the authors who have done moderately good work in that particular field or in that particular area. And we have to cite in the paper itself, in the introduction, and whatever the citation which we have given for a particular author, that has to be in the reference section again. So if you cite any author in the introduction, that has to be reflected in reference. Throughout your paper, you have to see how many authors or how many researchers you have given the citation, and all the cited articles has to be at the reference section. You have to do that. Otherwise, if you are not citing in your research paper, but you are giving some reference in references, then that will become a cross reference. It will not be accepted. So this is very, very important. Okay. Now, you see, title of a research article. There are certain guidelines out there for a title of a research article. It should reflect the main theme of your article. That is the main theme of your work. Like study of cellular reinforced fly ash under triaxial loading conditions. Now, in the study of cellular reinforced fly ash under triaxial loading conditions, that means you are studying the behavior of a cellular reinforced fly ash under experimental testing, that is triaxial loading conditions. So there are terms. You are used a material called fly ash, and you are used another material which is cellular reinforcement, and you made a specimen, and that specimen has been tested in a triaxial test cell in the laboratory. Then how you have to represent that? The representation is that study of a cellular reinforced fly ash under triaxial conditions. Now, whatever the keywords you will use in your paper, few keywords has to be reflected in the title. And you should avoid the special characters. Special character means you could not keep commas, full stop, dollars, ampersands. These things you have to avoid. You have to avoid these things. Then the title should provide answers of what is studied or researched. Just now I explained you. What is the study you have studied? What is the research you have done? That has to be reflected in the title itself. And how it is studied or researched. What you have studied and how it has studied. Cellular reinforced fly ash behavior, that is you have studied. And how you have studied under a triaxial loading conditions. So now the title is very clear. Because what you have studied is there and how you have studied also is there. So these things you have to remember whenever you write any technical note or a technical paper, whatever you say, whether you are submitting to a journal or whether you are submitting to a conference, these things are important. Now, abstract. Usually abstract will be around 150 to 250 words. Now, you should start with the key problem theme of the article. Theme of the article means what is the title of the article and what is the work you have done. That has to be reflected very clearly. Now, don't think that we required a tremendous knowledge in English to write an article. No, it is not like that. You have to write in a very simple, plain English article. The job of us is that whatever the work we have done, that has to be communicated properly in a way of sentences. If he doesn't understand the sentences, then what reviewer will do, he will write a comment stating that the sentence is incomprehensible. Usually we will write that. Incomprehensible means I'm not able to understand that. So don't think that we have to be expert in English. No, we are not English teachers. We are engineers. So we have to write what we have done in a simple, clear, legible sentences. That should contain your methodology. So what is the methodology you have used in that particular work and how you have done that work and what are the expected outcomes, that is findings of that work, and what are the conclusions. These things has to be there in abstract. Sometimes you can put implications of this statement. Implications means what will happen afterwards if you do this. You can put it also, there is no issue. But the main thing for abstract is that you should have exactly what you have done, that has to be reflected in your abstract. The methodology, what you have used, the experimental program, what you have used, what are the tests you have done, what are the results, and what are the findings and what are the conclusions. Precisely, you have to write in an abstract. Okay. Now, introduction. Now, what is introduction? Usually, I'll explain again to you people. The paper, structure of a paper will be like this: title, then abstract, then keywords, then introduction. So in introduction, what we have to write? Because suppose your field is defined, so you have to write about that field in the introduction. In introduction only, you have to write the literature also. Because related topics, you have to cite the important studies in that field. Because people think that we have to write introduction, then we have to put a separate section of literature review. No, it is not like that. That is dissertation or thesis writing. In dissertation and thesis writing, what we'll have? We'll have introduction first, Then we'll have a literature review. Then we will find a lacunas in the literature review. Lacunas means a gap in the literature. So based upon that gap, we will get aims of our dissertation or thesis. To achieve that aim, we'll set several objectives. That is the writing of a dissertation and thesis, not a technical paper. Technical paper, you should not have a separate section for a literature review. Literature review will be in the introduction itself. And wherever it is necessary, even in the resultant discussions also, if you want to compare some research work in the past with your present work, then you have to cite that. And whatever the citing, that has to be reflected in the references again. These are very, very important points. Because you can see the second point, why my paper is what they read. That also you have to focus in 1 or 2 sentences in introduction. Okay. Now briefly, literature review. I'll talk about literature review. See, literature review means before starting any research work, what we do that we do the literature survey. Literature survey. Maybe we'll take broadly a topic, then we do the literature survey. A lot of papers we'll see in that. Then we'll concise that. Then we'll make a report stating that these are the works which has been done in the past and what is missing in that. Missing means there is a gap in the literature. Now you can see this figure. Okay. So you are getting narrow. Ultimately, you will reach a tip point wherein you will decide what is your area of research. Initially, you will start with many papers. Broadly, a topic will be there. Broadly, a topic. Then you will do the research, literature review. Then you will write down the literature review. Then you will find out what is exactly done in that particular topic. Then you will narrow it down so that you will find wherein there is a point that this type of research work is not carried out. So based upon that, then you will put your aims. So literature review for any article writing is like a backbone. Without literature review, you cannot write any article. That means it is vice versa. Without any literature review, you cannot do any work, research work. If it doesn't do any research work, then you cannot write any article regarding that research work. That means the literature review is directly related to your. You have to cite all those researchers who have done the research on that particular topic or a related topic. That has been mentioned in this slide. It is self-explanatory. Okay. Now, just I am showing one of my paper only. You see, it's introduction. In introduction itself, you can see here Kaniraj and Gayatri, Das and Yudhvir, Gandhi et al. Like this, you see. In the literature review itself, in introduction, you have to cite the person. And one more important thing, as I said in previous slide, whenever there is a numerical data is there, if it is not your work, then that has to be cited properly and proper acknowledgements should be given to the particular author who has stated that numerical value anywhere. Whenever there is a numerical value in any technical paper or technical note or research article, that has to be cited. If it is not your work. Okay. Now, you see this. At the last paragraph of the introduction, what you have to do? You have to write what is actually you are doing in work. In this research paper, what is actual work you are presenting? That you have to write. Because you have done all the introduction. Introduction contains of literature review. And at the end, you have to write exactly what you are going to present in this research paper. You should not miss that. Okay. Now, methodology of research article. So methodology means like, if you are doing an experimental work, characterization of materials are important. Characterization of material means you may be finding out engineering properties of that material, or you may be finding out morphology of that material. You may be finding out chemical composition of that material or mineralogical composition of that material. Or suppose you are doing a mixed ratios. So everything will come in that methodology of your research work. This section explains how you carried out the present research chronologically. Because methodology, how you are going to do your research, that will be explained in that particular section. Because usually we do experimental work. So in experimental work, first thing is that procurement of the materials. You have to procure the materials. Then you have to characterize that materials. Characterization of material means you have to find out all the properties, including physical, engineering, chemical, everything you have to find out. Then suppose using that material, you are proposing a new material, then there will be certain experimental program will be there. That experimental program has to be clearly mentioned in the methodology. So suppose you are doing a numerical problem. Numerical problem means using certain FEM code. Now, you cannot develop. So you have to use the data, which is already there in the previous works. And using the data, you have to create your methodology. Otherwise, what will happen if you cannot develop any program? Then there is no point that you are doing a numerical simulation. Numerical simulation means what people are thinking now is that I have to use certain software, then I will simulate. I will give one good example for you people. Whenever we use in civil engineering, especially, I think most of the audience are civil engineers or mechanical engineers. We use a word Poisson ratio. In any numerical simulation, in any softwares which use finite element or finite difference code, they will ask two parameters. One parameter is modulus of elasticity, or you can say Young's modulus, and the second parameter is Poisson ratio. Poisson ratio of material or Young's modulus of the material. Now the issue will come while we do the review of any paper, numerical methods paper. Now they will write Young's modulus is this, Poisson ratio is this. Now the question comes to the reviewer is that how you find out the Young's moduli value and how you find out experimentally Poisson ratio value. If it is not there in the paper, then the reviewer will write stating that by your methodology is wrong. From where you got this data? Please explain clearly how you have find out the values of Young's moduli and Poisson ratio. You people might have using many softwares for a certain designing purpose or whatever it is. These two values are important. You don't do the testing of compression testing of any material. You don't draw a stress strain diagram. Then how you will get Young's modulus? That is one thing. Because if you cannot do that, then how you randomly pick an Young's modulus? You have to draw the diagram, stress strain diagram. If you doesn't draw the stress strain diagram, you cannot get the value of Young's modulus. Now the second thing is that Poisson ratio. Poisson ratio value randomly they will keep more than 0.5 also. See, the issue is that if the Poisson ratio never becomes more than 0.5, lateral to longitudinal strain, it cannot be. But randomly picking also, the values which we will quote, it will play an important role in that. So my advice to everybody is that whenever we use certain values in finite element code or something like that, and we will send that paper to any journal, then we should know how we got that value. Okay. Now, next is the results. What is the results in a technical paper? It presents our findings. We have done many works, and what are the major findings are there in the research article that will be published as a results. Data curation and representation in the form of tables, graphs, figures, right? Section presents the raw findings using tables, charts, graphs to illustrate the key data points and its trends. Now, important thing is that when we have to use the figures, graphs, and tables. Now, most of the papers, whatever the data we'll get it in a raw form. So we have to do certain things so that it will be fitted into a graph. Now, graph is also a figure. Okay. Suppose you are representing certain data in a form of a graph, which is called as a figure. Okay. Don't represent that in a table form. If you are keeping the same data in table format as well as in a graph format, that is a figure format, then there is no point. So we have to be careful. Which data we have to put it in a table format, which data we have to put it in a figure format. Figure format means like a graph. Okay, if the data is very huge, vast, so we cannot represent it in a figure format, that is in a graph format, then we have to go for a tables. To explain the concept, what you have done, what is the data, and what is the output of that. You see this, by adhering to these guidelines, you can effectively present your research data in a way that enhance the clarity and impact of your manuscript. Because you have done the work and you have to communicate that work effectively. There should be certain clarity. We have done the work and we are not able to communicate properly, that work means there is no point. We have to communicate in the way of that, like a graphs, which is called as a figures, and tables. And one more thing, usually people will do the mistakes here. Figures will have captions and tables will have titles. This part usually people will miss. Figures will have captions and tables will have titles. Title will be above the table and caption of the figure will be below the figure. Whether it's a graph also, it will be represented in a manuscript like a figure. Figure 1 represents this. Table 1 gives. If you do like that, then the reviewer will understand that what is the quality of the work, whether you have done a good work or not. But the reviewer feels that the representation is good. Even sometimes what will happen, if the representation is good, they will send a positive reviews. This is also very, very important. Okay. Now, figures and graphs to show complex data patterns, trends, or comparisons visually. When you need a display relationship between variables or groups, to highlight a visual differences or patterns that would be difficult to explain with text alone. Suppose we want to explain certain things. If it doesn't have that figure, then we cannot explain that. So what we have to do to minimize the sentences of explanation. So we have to represent in a form of a figure or in a form of a graph so that the explanation will be understood by the reviewer or the readers. So that what is there in the graph, they will see the graph and what you have written, they will see that. Suppose if the graph is not there and you have written many sentences, so it is very, sometimes it will become clumsy and sometimes it will become difficult to understand. So if you have a figure, then it will be clear to the readers as well as the reviewers. So what you are trying to explain to the people. Okay. Now, that is what I'm telling you. Clarity. There should be clarity. There should be consistency. Consistency means how you are representing a figure. Suppose your manuscript consists of around 5 to 6 figures. The consistency you have to maintain. You have to maintain the same style, same color scheme, same design. Otherwise, what will happen? One figure is one type, another figure is one more type, and third figure is one more type. Then it never become a good article, a good research article. No, it never become a good manuscript. So you have to maintain the consistency in the paper, appropriate type and caption details. Figures, that's why I mentioned caption details. The caption has to give the exact detailing of that figure. What you want to tell to the readers and what you want to tell to the reviewer, it has to give the exact details. Okay. These are some of the graphs. It is, you can understand this. I'll go through this. The use of tables. That is what I mentioned earlier. If you have a large data that you cannot represent in a figure form, in a graph form, then you have to use a table. Tables are useful for displaying data that requires close inspection of individual values. Ideal when the data has many variables or requires a detailed annotations. Okay. So one thing we have to remember is that once you have represented a data in a table, that should not be represented in a figure, and vice versa. Vice versa means once you have represented a data in a figure, that should not be represented in a table again. Okay. Now guidelines for tables, data precision should be there, organization of table, brevity and references. If any reference is there, that you have to do that very clearly. Now, ultimately, in the results, we have the discussions. Discussions means whatever the output you are getting, that has to be discussed very clearly. What is the output and how that output has come and what is your interpretation of that output. That will be in the chapter of discussion, results and discussion. Because provide exact and detailed interpretation and explanation about the findings. Exact. Suppose you got this, so you have to write, I got this and why I got this and what are the reasons to getting that. This will become discussions. Because you have done some work, you got certain values. You have to explain why this type of data has been produced if I do this type of work. Because that is from that you will get a findings. Because you will get a lot of data. From that lot of data, huge data, enormous data, there will be only few findings. See, there is a theory says that multiple experimentations does not give the quality of a research work. I'll repeat again. Multiple experimentations will not give the quality of a research work. That means I have done more than 200 experiments. That doesn't mean that all the 200 experiments, whatever the data you got, whatever the findings you got, that is the quality, it will give the quality of that paper. No. One finding is sufficient to give the quality to that paper. Multiple experimentations without any major finding doesn't add anything for our research work. So in discussions, what we do, whatever the results we got, we have to write very clearly why we got these results. Okay, and compare those results with the previous works. Is there any implications are there for future? That also you have to discuss in that particular chapter. Now conclusions. Conclusions means these are, whatever the findings are there and whatever the recommendations you are giving for further research reflects the steady contribution to the field. Then the conclusion should summary of key findings, that is major findings, indicates the importance of work by stating implications, recommendations of future research. The conclusions and findings both are different. Findings will come from your work. Okay. From findings, you have to conclude. Don't be in the impression that findings and conclusions are same. No. Conclusions and findings are different. Findings will come from your work, and from findings, you have to conclude the things. So you have to be write very carefully what are the conclusions. Maybe it will be around 200 to 250 words, not more than that. No references. Whatever the work you have cited in your paper or in your thesis or in your manuscript, that has to be given proper acknowledgement in the references. There are many styles out there. So why we have to do that referencing? To support your opinion. Obviously, to support your opinion means whatever the work you are doing, that work has to be supported by the works which has done in the past. Okay. Now to give the credibility to the information you present. So whatever the information you are presenting, there should be some credibility for that. Now, most important thing is that to avoid possible accusation of plagiarism. Plagiarism is nowadays, people are using artificial intelligence like a hell to write technical papers. They are not able to understand the demerits of artificial intelligence. See, there are many softwares are available. Even if you write a simple sentence in that stating that you write a technical paper and technical paper should consist of abstract, keywords, then introduction, literature, then methodology, experimental program, these, that, at the end references. In the artificial intelligence tools, they are giving complete set of paper, including references also. Now the issue is that whatever that is giving is not correct. It is only 10% correct. Because it will create certain references by its own. That is absolutely wrong. It is not ethical. Always I feel that artificial intelligence is a obedient servant. Obedient servant. Artificial intelligence. That means whatever the owner or will give the orders to that artificial intelligence, that will perform like that. But my advice to everybody who are listening this presentation that you use artificial intelligence, there is nothing wrong in that, but you have to verify the data or verify the information what that has been given to you. If it doesn't do that, then it will become problem. It will create its own references in, which is not there in the literature. This is very dangerous. Okay. Now, what are the common mistakes what we will do in research writing in a structure of a paper? Lack of clear hypothesis. That means we doesn't know what we are. But we know, but we are not able to communicate that. See, there are two issues. We don't know anything. And the second thing is that we know everything, but we are not able to communicate that. We are not able to put in a simple text in English. Okay. That is lack of clear hypothesis. Insufficient literature review. So that is what I said in the starting slides. For any research work, you should have a literature review. That is the backbone of that work. If you doesn't have a literature review, then what is the gap in the literature review? He doesn't know. If he doesn't know the gap in the literature, you cannot write down your aims of your research work. If he doesn't know what is the aims of your research work, there is no point that you are writing the objectives of your research work. If he doesn't have a research work, then you don't produce any research article. So all are interrelated. So to publish a good paper, all these things are very, very important. Now, inadequate data analysis. Because there is no data. It is not adequate. Okay. Poorly defined research question. That is your problem statement. The problem statement is poorly defined in the research paper. Big data analysis. These are the major common mistakes what people will do in research articles. Okay. This I don't go further in this because this section consists of English, how you have to write these things. Okay. This is abstract. You have to use simple past tense like this. Okay. Results simple past tense. For results obtained, simple present tense for describing the figures. Okay. See, we are not experts in English. That is very clear. Okay. But if you start writing any paper several times, several papers, then you will understand. Then you will get a zeal to learn the grammar of English. That is very, very important. Because if you have a zeal to learn, then you can do miracles. We can do miracles. It doesn't mean that we have a bachelor degree in English. No, it is not like that. It is not at all like that. Okay, but you may write a paper. Your job is to communicate what you have done clearly to the journal editor. If the journal editor doesn't understand what you have written, he will send back immediately. That means our job is that we have to write very legibly, clearly what we have done in a simple sentences. If the journal editor feels that, technical editor feels that that is correct, then he will send it to the reviewers. Suppose reviewers have given a good comments and our paper is selected for publication. Okay. Then the second job will come. Second job means not technical editors, the editorial board which will publish that paper. They will do the formatting of that paper. They will change the sentences of that paper. Whenever they get a doubt, they will change the sentences and they will send back to the author that we have changed this sentence, whether it is giving the meaning what you want to communicate to us. Suppose if you feel that what you want to communicate is not there in the revised sentence, then you can say that no, this sentence is not giving the meaning. Because it is not our job to learn English. No. There will be two types of things. One is technical editor, then the other one is publishing editor. So technical editor will see only the technicality of our research article. That's it. If it is that is good, if the reviewer feels that is good, they will select our paper. Now, once the paper is selected, it will go to the publishing editorial team. The duty of publishing editorial team is that they will bring our research article in the format of publishing in that particular journal. That they will do. And they will make few sentences, changes in the sentences, and it will communicate back to as a proofreading to the author. And if the author feels that whatever they have made changes in that particular sentences, if those are correct, he or she, they will say yes. Otherwise, they can say no. Once again, the sentences will be rephrased. Okay. Now, research mantras. This is not my work. This is the work of Professor S.K. Shukla. He is a renowned professor in geotechnical field. Okay. He said there are 7 mantras are there for doing any research or for writing any article of that research. Mantra 1 is define a new problem for its possible solution or work on known problem for its new or improved solution. You see, there is no need for us to invent anything. Okay. If you are inventing anything, then that is very good. But if you doesn't want to do that, or we don't have any competency to invent anything because of XYZ reasons, then whatever the problem is already existing, you made or you make certain changes in that so that a new problem will come up. There will be an improved solution. That is a mantra 1. Mantra 2, do your experimental or mathematical works with a great accuracy and precision. Because great accuracy and precision, ideologically, theoretically, it will come, but practically, it is very difficult to get that precision until unless we have certain experiments, certain sophisticated analytical instrument facilities, so that we can get that precision. Okay, mantra is prepare the list of assumptions or limitations of your completed research work as applicable with a suitable discussion in the article. Now the issue is that people will do the research and they don't put the limitations of that research work. Now, if you doesn't know the limitation of your research work, then there is no point that we are doing any research. What is the limitation of your work? Usually in technical papers, we don't keep the limitation of work until unless the reviewer asks. Sometimes reviewer asks, what is the limitation of your work which is not mentioned in your technical paper? Then we have to mention that. The issue is that most of the times what we do is that we don't keep limitations of our work in our dissertation or thesis. But you should know what is the limitation of your work. If you know the limitation of your work, that means whatever the work we have done is having certain value. Okay. Now, fourth is try to explain mechanism of your research observations and findings as possible and attempt to develop a scientific theory, equation, expression, design chart, or design table for field appreciations. Okay. Mantra 5, compare your new improved research findings with and solutions with currently available ones, if any, with a critical discussion. That is what I mentioned. If you do some work, you propose a theory. That theory has to be validated with the previous work. That is what I mentioned in the previous slides. Whatever the work we did, the work may be experimental or mathematical or numerical, whatever the results we got, whatever the findings we got, you have to compare those findings with the works related to the same topic previously which has been done. Suppose you got a value of 100, in the previous work the value is 50. Okay, then we have to discuss that. Why my value is 100 and that value is 50? We have to find out the critical comparison in our research article. If you write these things in a research article, then the research article is having higher chances to get published. Now, mantra 6 is describe your research work in the article using a short and clear sentences in a simple and plain English. That is what I was mentioning throughout our presentation. There is no need to write a complicated sentences. You have to use a very simple and plain English. We have to communicate the thing very properly what we have done. Now the editorial board, that is publishing editorial board, they will do the changes. But our job is that we have to write very clearly what we have done in a plain and simple English. There is no need for us to write the sentences in grammatically manner, using this type of sentence, this type of tense. No. What we have done, that has to be clearly explained in the manuscript. That is important. Okay. And last mantra is, at any stage of research process, there should not be any rush that can cause errors in your research outcomes and their publications. This is also important. Now, this is the reference, Professor S.K. Shukla. It is published in International Journal of Geosynthetics and Ground Engineering. Apparently, I am one of the reviewer of International Journal of Geosynthetics and Ground Engineering. Okay, it is published in Springer Publishing Unit. These are the two people who have done this presentation for me, Dr. Manoj Sahu and Professor Ashish Sarkar. So I have to give due credit to them also, because whenever we write any technical papers, we have to give credit those people who have done that work. Okay. Thank you. If you have any questions in this regard, you can ask me so that I can.
It was an wonderful lecture, such an insightful and informative lecture on the structure of research paper. Sir, your expert guidance has greatly enhanced our understanding of academic writing. The session is now open for question and answer.
If anybody is having any question, you can
Any
ask.
question from audience?
Sir, thank you, sir, for giving excellent lectures along with mantras. I would like to ask one question.
Yes, yes.
Normally, for a layman or in ordinary people also, when we sit for writing a paper, we start writing introduction, then methodology, materials methodology, then whatever result come, then we put result and write discussion, then conclusion, or sometimes we write even first abstract also, or after writing conclusion, we write abstract. So, uh, can you please guide us on what should be the exact sequence of writing a research paper?
See, it is a very good question. Because is that, as I said, for any research article, the first thing is that the quality of your research work and what is the data you got from that research work and what are the findings of your research work. Because if you have started any research work means by default, it is assumed that you have done the literature review. Without literature review, you doesn't do any research work. So suppose you have done any work, that means it is by default, it is understood then you have done the literature of that. And from that literature, you find the gaps. From that gaps, you got aims and objectives. Then you started your literature review. You started your work. Now to write any technical paper is that the first thing what you have to do is that, in my opinion, okay, you have to make it very clearly results and discussions. What is the result? That means what is your output first you got it. Because rest is assured. You got certain results, you have to interpret that results very clearly. Then only you can write your major findings. Then only from major findings you can write your conclusions. Once you have written your major findings and conclusions, then interaction will be there already because you have started your research work already. Okay, literature review is also is there already. Then combining all these things, then you have to write an. The last thing what you have to do is an abstract. The first thing what you have to do is that you have to do the results properly and you have to make the results understandable to everybody in the form of figures or in the form of tables. Then from those results, what you are drawing is important. That is the findings. So from that findings, then you can conclude what are the conclusion of your research work. Once these are over, literature review is already over, introduction is already over. All these things will come together, then it will become an abstract. Abstract should have complete information of your work. Complete information. That means what you have done, how you have done, and what are the results you got, and how you interpret all these results. Then what is your findings? And from that findings, what is your conclusion? So the last thing what you have to do in a research article is an abstract. So nowadays, what is happening, people will write first abstract. Then they will write many things. That is not correct. Okay. See, all are interlinked, which came first, either hen or egg, like that, So once again, I'll repeat this, for the betterment of understanding of people. If you start any research work, it is assumed that literature review is over. So there is no need for you to write literature review of a technical paper at once. It is over already. So you got the problem and how you did that problem, whether it is an experimentation or it's a numerical value, whatever the results you got, you interpret those results correctly with the help of either figures like graphs or in the form of tables. Then from there you find out the major findings. From there you got conclusions. Then rest is assured. At the last, you have to go for abstract writing. That is what usually happens. But nowadays, maybe for many years, it is in a reverse order. You will write abstract, we will write introduction, we will write experimental program. At the end, we will write conclusions. So that is not correct, actually. Hope my answer is satisfied, Professor Umre.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
The same thing has been noted by me also, and even I was looking at that inclination only. Another question from my side, and last question. So sometimes we, in the result section, we may have more than 2 or 3 graphs, or more than two or three tables, which depicts the findings. So should I write discussion for each of the graph or each
Yes.
of the table, or should I write discussion taking all the graphs or tables together?
No, it is not like that. If you are putting a figure, you have to mention in the manuscript stating that figure 1 shows or figure 1 show this. Then you have to explain that figure. What is there in that figure? You have to write down. From that figure, what findings we are getting, that we have to explain. Every figure should have a separate explanation in the manuscript. Every table should have a separate explanation in the manuscript. It should be separate, not combined.
Fine. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
One question from Vedant.
Vedantika more. What are the key criteria we should use to evaluate the quality of research article, especially when we are just starting out?
Pardon? What are the qualities?
What should be the key criteria?
3 criteria. Key criteria.
She is asking, what are the key criteria that should be used to evaluate the quality of research article?
Quality of a research article.
When we are assessing the quality of research article, or we are
that is what I'm telling.
When we say that this, what are the key criteria? She is asking.
That is what I was explaining in my presentation. Multiple experimentations without any finding doesn't give the quality of your work. See, I have done several experiments, and ultimately there is no finding in that. So one finding is sufficient to give a good quality of a research. There should be one finding. Suppose you have done multiple experimentation, but there is no finding. When there is no finding, there is no use of your work. There should be one finding where you can stand that this is my finding, and this is the comparison of finding with other related research works, and this is the critical comparison. Then only we can stand. That will give the quality of your work. See, innovation is different. Quality is different. Innovation means, suppose you are using some new materials, sustainable materials in your research work. Okay. Then you will develop some product. You will find another material which will say that this is a sustainable material, so that the sustainable development goals of India or UN, it is meeting with that. That type of article also you can publish. But the issue will come, the quality of the publication of an article will come with the finding of your work. If the findings are perfectly matching and in line with the particular field, then the quality will automatically increase. So many of the journals, suppose if you take a journal, suppose I'll send a paper to a particular journal, KSC, Korean Society of Civil Engineering. They will straight away refuse that paper. They will say that the quality of the work you are representing in your paper is not matching the quality standards of our journal. Now I'll send the same paper to another publishing unit. Okay, they will accept it. and it will go to the review process and it may get selected. So the journal quality depending upon many factors. The technical papers, what you are publishing, the journal editorial team, if they are very strong in ethics, so they don't accept certain papers. They will refuse that paper. That doesn't mean that the quality of work, what you have done is low. No. It can be published in some other journal. So we should not get dishonest that I have sent this paper to this particular journal and they refuse straight away. Meeting the not standards of the journal, that is the sentence they will send it back to us. It is not meeting the standards of my journal, our journal. So that doesn't mean that our research work is poor or low quality. But in terms of quality, if we say the key indicators, the key indicator is only one key indicator, that is your finding. If the findings are good, your work is good. And you can publish anywhere, whether it is a SCI journal or whether it's a Scopus Index journal or ESEA journals, you can publish it. But the findings are important. Okay, hope my answer is satisfied, madam.
Thank you, sir. Now I
Thank you,
hand
Ratan.
over the
It was
session to
very-
the.
Hello.
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 Hello,
Am I
sir.
audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ratan Lal sir. Very informative lecture, sir.
Should I stop sharing now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Hello.
Sir, thank you very much for sparing your time and valuable insight. Very informative lecture, sir.
Thank you.
Now I hand the session to Dr. Balbir Singh Ruprai, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I request all the participants to on the camera so that we can have a screenshot. All of you, please on the camera. Participants, please on the camera so that we will have a one screenshot for group photograph.
होस्ट से डिसेबल है कैमरा.
Okay. Wait, sir.
क्लासरूम उघडला आहे का बघा का.
Wait a minute, sir.
Sir, camera is disabled from the host.
Yeah,
sir.
wait. We are enabling the things. Wait.
अभी हो गया.
Sir, all participants can now on the camera.
Yes, please on the camera.
Done?
Okay, sir, done.
Okay, done.
Okay. Feedback link will be shared in the chat box. All of you, please fill the feedback links. Once again, I express my gratitude to Dr. B. Ram Ratan Lal sir, Dr. Valsan Varghese sir, Dr. A.M. Badar sir for your presence and valuable contribution. Your involvement plays a crucial role in making this orientation program a success. With this, we conclude the inauguration ceremony of our one-week orientation program on research aptitude. I hope you all would have a productive and insightful day ahead. Thank you, one and all.
I will take a minute, okay. On my personal behalf, I would like to thank the entire team of Department of Civil Engineering of KDK Engineering College, especially Professor Valsan Varghese, the Honorable Principal of the college, and Dr. Professor A.M. Badar, Vice Principal of the college, and Satoniji, the head of the department, and especially Mahendra Umreji, who has given me this opportunity to interact with you people after a quite long time. I'm very thankful to everybody. Okay, if you have any doubts, my number is with everybody, I think so. Even I congratulate Dr. Anshul Nikade also. Recently, he got a doctoral degree from Raisoni, I think, University.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yes, yes, I should congratulate you. Okay.
It will be
Uh,
grateful if you share the presentation.
yes, definitely. I'll send it to Umre sir so that you can take. I'll make the PDF of that and I'll share it.
Fine, fine, sir.
You see, sharing the knowledge is very important. The knowledge should not die with one person. Okay, it
Yes,
has
sir.
to be shared always. Okay.
Thanks.
So once again, my thanks to entire family of KDK College of Engineering for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge with you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Dr.
sir,
Sir.
for
Very
sparing.
descriptive lecture.
Sir, thank you, sir. Badar sir, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for sparing your valuable time.
Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you, sir. Should I leave now?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you.